Hey everybody, Brian here. I want to show you just an i20 Classic and an i20 Deluxe. So this video is going to be useful for somebody that wants to figure out the differences between the two specifications. In Ireland, that's always been a really popular model, but actually we had one of these going out yesterday and we looked at it and kind of went, there's a lot of new stuff on the entry model. So it might actually suit some people that we hadn't previously presented it to. So let's have a quick look around the differences between them. So both cars, 1.2 84 brake horsepower non-turbo, 1.2 84 brake horsepower non-turbo. The first thing that's obvious is the bumper is the exact same. So when you look at the bumper, it has those nice shapes and the big grille and the big new Hyundai sign up through here, which is the exact same as what's on this one over here. The big difference, however, is these ones have a halogen daytime running light in through there, whereas this one has independent LEDs as the daytime running light. So that'll be the first difference I'd say between the two of them, but other than that, they look pretty almost identical at the front. Fortunately, it's lashing rain as usual, so that's why I'm inside in the workshop and the lighting's not as good. But the first thing then that you'll notice over here, this Deluxe one is going to have a 16-inch alloy wheel. The Classic one will have a 15-inch wheel trim, but I think it's still a nice shape of wheel trim. For people that like kind of styling features on the car, then I can totally understand that probably the Deluxe one, just by having the wheels and the LED daytime running lights, will probably be the car of choice. But there are people that buy these i20s that sometimes are just looking for pragmatic transport that's safe and has a nice level of features, but they're not overly concerned about some of the more aesthetic features. That's where the Classic starts to feature. On the rear of the car, the only noticeable difference that I can tell you about is the Deluxe one has a little chrome belt line. What I mean by that is if you look along the bottom of the windows, along here, and then wraps around the C-pillar up through here, whereas on this one here, it's black. The other thing as well then is the Deluxe model is going to have a tinted rear glass set up here. So that's the rear window and the side windows. Whereas this one, UV tint, but it's not dark. In terms of the rear of both cars, the lighting setup is identical. The rear bumper is identical with the nice kind of, I suppose, splitter that's along the rear on both sides. And while the Deluxe model always had parking sensors, what we found interesting on this Classic was it also comes with parking sensors on the rear, which it didn't normally. Whether you go for Classic or whether you go for Deluxe, the boot size will be identical on both of those cars. One thing actually, this video is just very much that versus that. In other words, the Classic versus Deluxe. But if you just want a video about what's in the i20, like this new model of i20, this video here should be quite useful. It'll be about test driving and just about sizes and a few different bits of information that you might not be in this one. So have a look at that as well. Anyway, let's get back to this where we're just comparing Deluxe versus Classic. So let's have a look at the material on the seat. So the material on the seat, you can see it's dark grey on this with some texture design along through here, so it looks quite stylish. And then the rear, I'm only showing this is not very interesting, but it will make more sense in a second, the Deluxe. So if we move across to the Deluxe, you can see it's like a dark grey. Ironically, actually, there's more design features on that seating material than there is on the higher spec Deluxe. But as you can see over here, Deluxe gets a USB connector for the rear passengers, and this is a much taller setup. So this one, we can see, didn't have the back of the armrest, whereas this one does have the back of the armrest, which is really more for the front passengers. Obviously the size of the car remains the same. Classic gets rear electric windows and a child lock, and the Deluxe gets rear electric window and also a child lock up front. So this one over here, you can see it's all black plastic on the door cards, whereas this one has some extra say brushed aluminium along through here. And then this one's going to have some ambient lighting in the pockets down through here and in here as well. We won't have that on Classic, but like I was saying to you, this is a more pragmatic car. Controls for electrics for windows and mirrors on that Classic over there, whereas this one here will also have controls for electrics, windows and mirrors, but also has foldable mirrors, which the Classic doesn't automatically have from a button. Like we were saying, the material up front is a dark grey material on the seating of a Deluxe, whereas we have dark grey but with some designs on this Classic version. Down through here we got a 5-speed gearbox. There's some storage up front. There is very simple and straightforward controls for the heating, so warm and cold, speed of the fan, where do you want the fan to blow, controls for radio and Bluetooth over through here, controls for cruise control down through there, wipers, but they're not automated per se. And over here then you do have automatic lights, so automatic lights for daytime, nighttime, and they also dip when they make traffic. There is digital dash clocks on this Classic. Now we'll see digital dash clocks on the other one as well, but they're slightly different. I thought it was very impressive that this one came with a camera, but also sensors as well. And then it also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This being the classic model, that's just some transport plastic, so that's usually all black in through there. So just bear this in mind. This is the exact same on the Deluxe. This will look a little bit different, and this over here will look a little bit different on the Deluxe. And it's worth noting that that classic model also gets air conditioning. So when I was saying the center section looks a little bit different, the heating area actually is identical. The only reason that it looks a little bit different is that there's wireless charging down here where we didn't have it on the other one. So USB connectors. So air conditioning setup's the exact same, screen is the exact same. That's what it looks like when all the plastic is taken off it. And in through here then, slightly more elaborate digital dash clocks in through the center, and you can change how they look and customize the dash area to look a little bit different on this, whereas on the classic it is a digital clock, but just not as customizable. This one also has an armrest in the center with some storage, but the drinks holders are the exact same in classic. Here back in the classic we have a tilt, so we can pull the steering wheel and push it. That is way handier with one hand than you would think. And then the seat is completely height adjustable for the driver on both cars. So that steering wheel adjustment and that seat adjustment is on the classic and also on the Deluxe. I think it's interesting even that the steering wheel material on the classic is leather, which normally used to be plastic on the entry model, so they've continued with that. Just in case somebody has the question, a Deluxe or a classic will incorporate Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, so you can have Maps, Spotify, Audible, all that kind of stuff up through there. To be fair, I think that classic, and it's nearly £2,000 less, is very, very well specified. It's a good price point, that car actually. So that is definitely a car worth considering if you're looking at it from a pragmatic point of view, for something with a long warranty and an excellent level of safety features and also an excellent level of specification. However, if, like a lot of people, you do like some of the extra styling features like tinted glass, the wheels, LEDs, wireless charging inside, ambient lighting inside, then probably something like the Deluxe might be more suitable for what you're after. So apologies, it's a short, really, really poor quality video, but it's just trying to give you an idea. It's just raining, lashing rain the whole time at the moment. So it's just trying to give you an idea of Deluxe, Classic. Hopefully the video is useful. Thanks a million for watching. Brian's my name, Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare, 086 843 1945. If there's any information I can help with. Thanks for watching.